Okay, we can start. I just hit the record button.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome everyone. I will be trying to give you a little intro before you come here on campus to the actual skill center. And so if you have any questions at any time, just raise your hand or just voice your question outright. But I hopefully will have some time at the end to answer any burning questions that you have. And don't worry if you don't ask them now, you'll have time to ask them when you get here live on campus. Okay. Uh, so basically, I'm going to go through this little agenda, and afterwards, I will send a PDF version of this slide deck so you have a copy of it later. And that way you can look over all the material as well on your own time. So I'm just going to go through a couple of things, just some brief introductions about what the Skill Center is and the Skill Center team, and some of the people that you'll be interacting with when you get to the Skill Center. So myself, I'm the lead faculty proctor and the founder of the Skill Center. And I go by Michael, so you can call me Michael whenever you run into me or at any time. We also have a couple other faculty from MCDB, Mike Klimkowski and Jenny Knight, that help with some of the factors, and you may see Mike during the summer at various points. In addition, Zach Hazlett, who's sort of the lead TA and proctor, and he'll be around during the summer. And then we have a couple of other LAs and TAs that you may interact with, Bayi and Mel, who's both undergraduate students that you may be interacting with. Okay. So what is the Skill Center? So it's basically a self-paced, hands-on learning environment for you. Okay, so it's not like a traditional lecture course where you go in and listen to things. It's about managing your own time. It's a space that is meant to recreate sort of working in a lab, a research lab. Okay, we have equipment there. You have to choose which particular skills you want. So some of you are going into particular labs and they may tell you, oh, you should really learn this skill or that skill. So we have a large variety of different skills available, and not every student will do all the same skills, okay? It's up to you to think about it and choose and talk with us as well as your other advisors about what's most appropriate for you and what interests you in particular. And so, as mentioned, it's not a typical undergraduate course. It's a space that is yours and all the other students involved in the course. So treat it like it's your lab space, because it really is. And so you have responsibility for sort of keeping up on your work and your progress, and we help you along with that, and we'll talk to you if you have issues. Come talk to us either live at the Skill Center or through the Teams, which we'll talk about, which is the main way that we communicate. Okay. Initiative, that's a real key part about this, which is what we try to get students to engage with, is taking the initiative to sort of learn new techniques, new laboratory skills, and interacting with all the personnel that are there in the skill space. And what we're trying to achieve is giving you that confidence and instilling persistence and working through some of these skills. And an important thing to keep in mind is that we don't have a fail state for any of these skills. If something goes wrong, we're there to help you out and overcome whatever the particular problem may be. So if something doesn't work, it doesn't mean that you failed. It means that it didn't work and you learned something about how things should work and how they don't work. Okay, so don't worry about if things aren't working out. That's part of what the learning environment is about, is working through those potential failures. Okay. Got somebody else who joined. Okay. So the first thing that you need to do, and hopefully some of you have managed to find the Skill Center SOP on the course, is to go through the safety aspect of it, okay? And so we want you obviously to be safe. When you come on site, we'll show you there's a little office space where the proctors hang out, and you can hang out, and that's where you can put your backpack and your lunch or whatever it is that you want to put there before you actually go into the laboratory space. And so, as mentioned, you have to complete this intro safety module, and hopefully that will all be done except for the final part, which there's a little safety component, which is specific to the Skill Center space. And so when you come and visit on the 28th or the 31st, you'll finalize that last bit, and then we'll check you off as being finishing that first module, okay? And an important point here is, if there's any question, just ask one of the proctors, seek assistance. If somebody's not there to answer your questions, you can ask questions on the Teams communication, which should be set up, hopefully. We'll talk about that in a bit. And if something goes wrong, if something breaks, just let us know. Equipment is easy to fix. People are really hard to fix. So we want you to feel comfortable, not worry about things, and learn as much as possible. So if something goes wrong, just reach out to one of the proctors. We're there to help you and get things back running properly. Okay. All right. So course logistics. So hopefully everybody has been to the Skill Center website. Yes or no? I hope. Yeah. And you should have all received a invitation to join the Microsoft Teams group. Has everybody done that? Yes. I'm not getting any response. Yeah. Aaron, were you able to join?
I have not joined yet. I have your invitation in my email, so that's on my to-do list for today.
All right. So hopefully everybody will join that, because that's really the way that we communicate, as well as provide feedback on all the skills that you're doing. So when you submit something, you'll get written comments and feedback and say, oh, this wasn't right, or this was correct, or try to change this, or this looks great, whatever the case may be. So all of that will be happening through Teams. So it's important that everybody joins the Microsoft Teams.
And I'll add that I think FOND has paired all of our new participants up with one of our previous participants, one of our 4 existing participants.
Yep.
So that if our students have any questions,
Yep.
they have a peer to reach out for and ask for help as well, because they've successfully figured it out. So you have lots of people to help you get through the process.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
And sorry, Michael, I didn't get an invitation to join the team.
Oh, I didn't send you one.
But
I
I would like to be invited so I can see what the
Yeah.
students have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my oversight. I apologize. I will send you an invitation, and you'll be part of that. And I'll show a few things here later about how the Teams works and things, but there is a specific channel for all the Front Range students, so you can all talk to each other, because we also have other students that are in the Skill Center, either as regular students or continuing ed students through other programs. And so they're kind of have the open channels, but there is a specific channel for all the FRCC students, so you can all talk to each other together. Okay. All right. So how does the whole course works? You go to the website. There's all this information about the various modules, the proctor hours. There's a link which will show you when we're available. If there's a particular time that you want to be there every week, and you say the proctor hours don't align with my best time, let us know, and we can shift our proctor hours around accordingly. Okay. And the main reason that we want you there when the proctors are there are two things. One is sort of safety. There's somebody around in case there's an accident or something, but also so that you can get feedback and we can help you. Okay. It also shows you where the lab is, and then the reservation calendar, the facilities, linked labs, and frequently asked questions. So you can explore around there. As mentioned, you should sign up for the Skill Center team. If you haven't, you can click on the link on the website and it should allow you to join the team. And then within the teams, you will have all these various channels. So there's a specific channel for the Front Range students. There's Q&A, there's supplies requests. So we like people to ask various questions in this Q&A because other students can then go up here and you can search in the Q&A and it'll pull up other questions that students have asked and give you some feedback about that, okay? So you should be able to now with your CU credentials, you can download and install Microsoft Teams on your personal device. It also works on your phone as well. So I have it on my phone, and so I'm wandering around often and students will ping me and say, I can't find this buffer, I need some help with this, and then I can run down there. Okay. Any questions about that? No? Okay. There's sort of this personal chat for it. So you can, just like you do with texting, you can DM myself or Aaron or Fan, who will be joining shortly, or any of the other proctors, and ask have a one-on-one conversation with them if you feel like it. Okay. An important part of the Skill Center is reserving the facilities. So this operates just like a working laboratory. And so if I want to use a particular piece of equipment, I have to reserve it so that we don't have two people trying to use the same piece of equipment at the same time. You will be able to just go to this reserve resources and sign up in Cluster Market. I will also send an email with a specific link for you that you can just click on and sign up. And then you'll join the Skill Center Cluster Market, and that shows you all the pieces of equipment and Skill Center stations that you can sign up for. Say, I want to use this from this time to that time, okay? And that's just to make sure that it's operationally not having people trying to use the same piece of equipment at the same time, okay? This is sort of what that looks like. It shows, for example, here's a piece of equipment, the autoclave in this room, and you'll see all these various stations will show you everything that's there. And here's a person that signed up from 10 to 11 to use that particular piece of equipment. Okay. All right. As I mentioned, it is mobile accessible. You can download it on your phone, whether it's a iPhone or any type of phone, whatever you happen to have. And you'll get little messages. You can read everything. You can do all your resources. You can do everything on your phone if you want to. Okay. All right. Now, in regards to how the module hours work, so everybody is signed up for 1 credit hour, all right, for the summer. And that typically means about 4 to 6 total modules. Because we've had you signed up through the extraordinary program, it's a single credit hour to keep the costs down, but you're more than welcome to do more than that many credit hours if you want. We keep track of that. And so you'll still get the certificate. So if you decide, oh, I want to do more skills than just the 4 to 5 modules that is necessary, that's perfectly fine. You can do as many as you want, and we encourage you to do that. Okay. How does it basically work? When you go to the website, you'll see this little modules button. And it will pull up a whole list. You'll see wet lab versus computational. You can basically order them. You can search by name to find out whatever module it is. And it's also based on skill levels. So we have beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And the basic layout is, it tells you what the lab is, how many module hours it's worth, and whether or not it has any PRQs or prerequisites. Okay. And if there are prerequisites, it means you have to do that module before you can do another module. So for example, if you were going to learn, you wanted to do PCR, you have to be able to do pipetting and making buffers before you can do PCR, for example. So you have to do some initial skills in order to advance, to go into a more advanced skill. Okay. And when you download that PDF, it gives you all this background information, the purpose, the scope, responsibility, and then it'll get to the module task that we'll talk about later. Okay. There's also a module tree diagram that you can use if you're interested, where you can click on various types of skills. And when you click on one of those, it'll show you, for example, protein expression. You need to do all these earlier methods, these earlier skills before you can actually do that one. It sort of shows you what the prerequisites are, if you will. Okay. So when you've downloaded that, you've read the information, at the end, there's the module methods task that you need to complete. And that's the part that you will be submitting to us to review. There's a template on the website, and you can just download that particular template. It's a Word document. So everything that you submit to us should be in a Word document format. Okay. And the reason for that is so that we can edit it and put comments in there related to your work product. Okay. So it's important that you save it as a doc file. Fill in your name, your student ID, date, class, etc. You complete that task, and then complete these various prompts that are part of that template. This shows you sort of the typical template. So it's asking you to summarize sort of the current lab exercise that you did, how you planned, provide some experimental hypothesis if applicable, talk about your materials and methods, your data analysis, your conclusion, and any sources that cited. If you looked up on Google and found this or whatever the case, you say, oh, I read this on this particular thing. Okay. And so when you're basically handing out, completing this module methods task, you have specific questions and answers that, depending on what it is, in this case, the dialysis, it's asking you specific questions about the module that you did, and you answer those questions in that doc file that you'll download. You answer those various questions. So it has specific prompts. So what I was showing you here are general. That's true for all of them. And then each one will have specific questions that it's asking you when you do the skill. Okay. This shows you an example of a answer sheet that somebody's turned in. So it has these specific questions. They're calculating, in this particular case, it's a dialysis buffer exchange. You show your numeracy. You calculated things, you have basically conclusions, you fill out all those things, and these are all these prompts. It's asking you to split this, what's the concentration, calculate various things. This is sort of an answer sheet, if you will, for a particular module from a student. Okay. This is another sort of, if you have images, so many of the tasks you will collect an image. So in this particular case, this is a DNA agarose gel. So you can just take a picture with your phone and you just paste it into your Word document. Yeah, you just copy and paste it in there. That's your results from that particular experiment. Okay. Once you're finalized with that Word document, you'll go back to the website and you'll click on this MMT Dropbox. That's where you're going to submit your work product. Okay, your Word doc. And there, once you click on that, there are two options. One, this is my first submission, and two, this is a resubmission. If it's your first submission, you're going to go to this post MMT questionnaire. And that's basically going to ask you a variety of questions about how long did it take you? How did you feel about? Do you feel confident about the skill? And we're doing this to try to improve the skill center. So please answer those questions, give those responses. It's part of an ongoing project in pedagogy on how best to teach students new skills. And so we really want you to do that, but you only do that one time for each module. So if you do SDS Page, you just do it once and you wouldn't do it a second time to make corrections, okay? So what you'll get back then on your teams, in this particular case, we may have some comments about, well, you didn't clearly state all the materials and methods, and the conclusion had some issues with it. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to go to your folder and you'll actually see the document in there with our comments, and you can open it and read the comments that we put in there, okay? And then you can address those comments, and then you would resubmit it to the box, okay? And in this case, during that resubmission, you say this is a resubmission, so you don't redo the quiz, because the questionnaire, because you've already done it once, just about the general things, okay? And if everything looks good, you'll get a card like this in Microsoft Teams, and this is just coming to your personal chat space, and it tells you that you've done a good job and everything looks good. And you can do a couple of things here. One, you can click on check your grade. You can go back to the course website. You can open your folder, which will show all your certificates and all your work product. So you'll keep all those documents at the end. You'll have those. And you can look at the certification for this particular one. So once you've completed that, you'll get a certificate, a PDF like this, with the date and signed by myself as the faculty proctor, with your name showing that you've completed that particular module successfully, okay? So you'll get that PDF. All right, so I think I'm gonna just stop right there and see if there are any questions about that, because what I've gone through so far is just sort of the operational logistics of the course of getting the documents, working in the skills center, submitting things, etc. Does anybody have any questions? It's all clear? Okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
In one of the email that we received, there was this training of NIH training. There was another paper where we had to log into a website, activate our identity key and stuff like that, and go through a certain number of trainings.
Yep.
So is it that training you're talking about here?
There's a number of extra trainings that are part of the B2B program. The Skill Center trainings, 2 of those are the safety trainings that we require.
Okay.
So there were some additional ones in that email, but 2 of those are specific to the skill centers, and then the other ones are important for the B2B program.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. As I mentioned, there's that questionnaire after you submit things. And basically, this is a research program on student learning. It's voluntary consent. We don't maintain students' identity or anything like that, but it helps us to improve the skill center. And the only way we can improve it is by getting feedback from students who are actually engaged in the skill center. So you will get an email that is basically asking for your consent to participate in that, which just means that we can use the data, but it won't have anybody's name or identity. It's all scrubbed from that. But it's really important for us to help improve what we're trying to achieve here, which is teaching all of you important skills, okay? If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me and I'll answer. Okay. So before we sort of finalize things, just the important housekeeping. So please complete the course survey. We'll be sending it out. Get access to the Microsoft Teams page. Register for Cluster Market. Familiarize yourself, of course, with the course website. And then when you're ready, download the skills safety module and complete that. And please try to do that before you arrive on the 28th or 31st, because that's going to be a full day of doing various skills. And so we want to get the safety out of the way so you can just jump right into the lab, okay? And that's everything that I wanted to cover. There's some other sort of keys to success, which you can go through on your own time. I'll be sending you this PDF, and I'll also put in the links to sign up for the cluster market, as well as the link to join the teams, just in case you haven't done that, as well as the consent link for the questionnaires that we ask students when they complete a module. And I think that's everything. Does anybody have any other questions or concerns?
So you say you're gonna send the link to join the team, because I haven't received an email about it.
I'm going to send it. I sent one earlier, but I'll send another one that includes this document, as well as links to join the cluster market and to join the teams. You can also go to the website and request to join the Microsoft team, and I'll get a notification, and I should be able to approve you, okay?
And since I'm recording this, I'm gonna send you guys the file for this presentation also, in case you wanna walk through it, you miss anything, you're confused about anything. So before the program starts, there's a lot of paperwork to do. That's why I was telling you guys, you need to be on top of your emails, search your emails from me, from Michael, and then if there's any link, any stuff you need to do, make sure you do them immediately. And if you have questions about what to do, always send me an email. And I think I'll see some of you next week on campus. And I can just help you in person too at that time, okay? So make sure you check your email every day. This is the key few weeks that all the paperwork will start to coming for you. Like I'm not kidding about this. So make sure you check your email every day, and that's the whole thing. I realize students don't do that, but you need to get used to doing that.
Yeah. And once you join the teams, then you'll be getting constant reminders of things to do. So it's like text messages almost. Yeah. Okay. Anything else we need to cover, Fan? I hope that gave you a little overview. It's a lot of information and things to do, but don't worry. Don't feel overwhelmed. We're here to help you and get through all the logistics and make sure you can get on site and enjoy the skill center. We look forward to having you over the summer.
Oh, I think one thing I forgot to, or Michael, you forgot to mention is it's not just for before the program start, you learn all these lab skills. You should kind of mention like during the summer.
Yep.
Maybe you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so we're going to have the first day to sort of do a couple of different skills. and you may have a list of the ones that you're particularly interested in. But during the whole summer, the skill center will be open, so you can come in and do a new skill. You'll have time to do that during the whole summer, whenever you're available. Yeah. So that's why it's important just to coordinate with both when the proctors are there on site, as well as using the cluster market to reserve whatever skill station of interest. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So if you're working in a particular lab or doing a particular thing, okay, so the question was the skill center hours. So maybe what I'm going to do here is share my screen again. And I will try. Okay, so everybody can see that. So if you go to the course website and you basically click on people, right here it says Proctor Calendar. Yeah. And if you click on that, I guess I have to verify that you should be able to do. It'll show you all the proctor hours when people are available. Okay. So you'll be able to log in with whichever account you want. You'll see the proctor hours. So this shows that, and we have some other proctors that'll be here over the summer that this will fill up. So if you're going to come on site to do something, make sure you try to schedule it while one of us is available. Okay. Or one or more of us are available. And as I mentioned, if, for example, the only time you can come is, say, Wednesdays from noon to 3 or something, just let one of us know and we'll shift our proctor hours around. Okay. Yeah.
And I think what's gonna happen this summer is, for example, if your lab tell you that next week you're gonna do DNA gel electrophoresis. And then so the week before you can schedule with the skill center to learn that specific skill before that you have to do it. So
Yep.
this is why it's very helpful. And you can, go to skill center because there's going to be downtime during research, right? Like you have to wait for something to happen, you have to incubate something. So those are also good time to go to skill center to do a few things. I think a module depends on what level it is, takes about 2 hours.
Yeah, it's so the modules, if you click on the modules, you can scroll down here. So and you can basically search. So you were talking about DNA agarose gel. So that's maybe 3 hours. Okay. Some students may do it in 2, some that may take 6. It's everybody has a different pace in mind. But you should plan to probably be there for 3 hours in the skill center to complete that. Okay. And it's important to recognize that that doesn't include sort of all the preparation of thinking about what you're going to do. That's sort of what you're actually going to do physically there. So you should read the actual SOP. When you click on this PDF, it'll open up. So you should read all the background information about it, purpose, et cetera, and then the part down here, which is the actual task that you'll be doing, thinking about, okay, I need to calculate these, what are these dilutions, et cetera. So make sure you're familiar with the SOP before you show up. Okay. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for those 3 hours, does that mean they have to be there 3 hours in one stretch, or it can be broken apart?
Yeah, so that very much depends upon the module. So in the case of the DNA agarose gel, you can prep the gel and put your DNA in there and then turn the gel on and then go away for an hour and then come back and it's done. So it depends on which particular module. Some you sort of have to be there and watch. Others, for example, protein purification or DNA gel electrophoresis, you can set it up and the machine will run it for you. Although most people, the first time they do protein purification, because it's a nice green fluorescent protein, they stick around because they want to see it come off the column. So even though they can leave, they're excited to see it happen. So just depends, but you should plan to spend 3 hours, and depending upon the module. And so if you wanted to ask about that, will there be some time to do something else? You could just reach out to one of us, one of the proctors, and we can say, oh yeah, if you're going to run the gel, you might have an hour while it's running. Yeah. Okay. And so related to that is an aspect of multitasking. We do often have students that quickly recognize that there's downtime in some of these experiments, and so they try to do 2 things at once. It's not an uncommon thing. So you could come, if you're going to be in the skill center for 3 or 4 hours, you might start the DNA gel electrophoresis, and then you could also work on the computer while the gel's running, and do a computer module about protein structure or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or? All good? All right. Okay.
Great. A lot of smiley face. So thank you, Michael.
All
And I
right.
said, I recorded this, so you guys will get a copy of this too. Email me, email anybody in the group with questions if you have any. Okay, great. Thank you, you guys. Thank you, everybody. See you
Right.
guys.
Look forward to seeing
Bye.
you next week. Take care. Bye.